Uh-oh. Hello everybody. Stellaris, didn't open, let's say. Just give me a quick second here. We should be able to get this back on track. I'm sorry about the late start. I actually have one really bad excuse for it. So one, I need to catch up um, on making some other content, which I can't talk about at the moment, but I think you will enjoy when the time comes. And I thought, it's been a while since I've done a little something for myself. How about I get some time in Europa Universalis? I'm playing as the Netherlands, because that's all I ever play, it seems. And I'm having a great time of it. But I had such a good time of it, I went an hour past my start time. Yes, send an error report. Okay. Hopefully this will work. Anyways, that's my excuse. I have some other things that I need to record, but I thought, let's get the stream done. Obviously, it's Monday. We do Grand Strategy on Monday. And I've been looking forward to this. I like Stellaris a lot, and it does seem to be a game that people have connected with. And I like that quite a bit because I think Stellaris is a really wonderful place to start getting into Paradox games. I can completely understand there's probably a segment of players who maybe only will enjoy Stellaris, and that maybe some of the historical titles don't quite hold the same appeal to them. But it seems to me to be a really nice introduction to some of the ideas behind behind these Paradox Grand Strategy games. I have a feeling part of it is because it has the Civilization style start of one colony ship, or not even a colony ship, one science ship going out into the darkness and exploring what's going on. And I think there's something comforting in that, because there's less that you need to sort of micromanage, and over time you sort of develop into the complexity of the game and your species. I suppose this is also why maybe some of the old hands at Paradox games may have might be a little less enthralled by the game, because I suppose, like for me, when I play Europa Universalis, there is the state of the world as it is. If you begin in 1444 and you want to play as Holland, Holland has some very specific limitations on where it is in the world and what it can do. Sorry guys, I just need to I forgot to do something. First of all, I don't remember if I tweeted out, so I need to check that. And then I need to send off a quick message to someone before I go too nutty. So I'm just going to be quiet for a second here while I just need to catch up with something really quick. Cool. Okay. Sorry about the wait there. But yeah, I think this is so the thing that's nice about this game is that you are able to have a very manageable experience at the start. It's that one settler at the beginning of civilization. It's that that single science ship, and the complexity grows. And more importantly, the game also gives you some management tools inside of the game to help you out. And I contrast that to Europa Universalis, which I really enjoy, and I suspect probably has a depth that is still not present in Stellaris. Stellaris is definitely growing. I'm really happy with the direction that the game has gone. I know some people were maybe a little less maybe enamored with the Megacorps update, but I'm quite fond of it personally, and I think each new bit of DLC that comes out has just given us even more opportunities to sort of try out new things, kick the tires a bit, see what's going on, and I'm very, very fond of this game. It's obviously one that's kind of eaten the Paradox strategy game streams. I think I struggle a little bit with Hearts of Iron 4 still, so in that sense, I don't feel too bad that I didn't really pursue Hearts of Iron past the not Stronger Together, Together for Victory DLC. I do still occasionally play it myself. It's just it's one that I struggle trying to really make some headway with. I don't quite have the confidence in it that I do with Crusader Kings. I have occasionally felt bad about Crusader Kings because I sometimes think that the timing of Crusader Kings and Stellaris patches tend to overlap a little bit, so Crusader Kings sometimes gets short shrift. But these are all really wonderful games, and I think what's nice about Stellaris is, again, because you don't have those historical starts, you're really able to make this a canvas on which you can paint any story that you want. And it's a really rewarding experience. There's just something about being able to tell your own little science fiction story in this environment that keeps me coming back. So we'll consider the position that we're in. We're in a fairly decent spot. The United Hythian League basically bore the brunt of our tangle with the Khan. Now the new Goldfrip Khanate has not learned to. I suppose they haven't quite figured out that we're the rest of the galaxy doesn't like us. Yeah, so the Scythian League is disloyal. The Hythian League is disloyal. They'll probably be that way for a very long time due to the declined wars. These guys are going to be... Okay, the threat sort of makes sense because of the... you know, I force vassalized them. Obviously, the Vunakon Shard isn't going to want to be vassalized, or the Archivists. The Korean Coalition, I believe, is my rival now. Oh, maybe not. But they're certainly not going to want to become a subsidiary. They don't like us, and I suspect it's probably... Oh. I guess it's the Abastar dynasty. So apparently there's a lot of these guys kicking around. How many of me is there? I'll get it eventually. Yeah, I feel like we're in the running as far as I thought there was like a pie chart. There's definitely oh, here we go, demographics. So odd though, it doesn't actually tell us it doesn't tell us the full population of all of the entire empire. Unless I'm missing something really obvious. Oh, fancy that. Okay, so realistically, what are we looking at? Well, I'm not quite, I'm not quite confident enough to go after the Vunocon shard yet. We are sort of building up our capacity, but this is definitely, I still want to be playing a little defensively so far as the Fallen Empires are concerned. And one major reason for that is, I take out the Vunocon shard, sure, but it's very likely the Mitron Archivists and the Renar Protectors are going to wake up, and one of these empires waking up, I might be able to sort of throw everything behind it, but two of them, that's going to be a challenge. The big event that we ended on was the L Gate, so we've got a bunch of dragons running around. I don't actually remember what these things do, but they're obviously not hostile, so maybe I'll get a guy to follow them around. Alright, now to the L Gate. Did we not? Surely we should be able to. Oh, that's right. We haven't actually gone through it yet. So obviously our brave science ship is up next. They're already on their way. Cool. So priority number one is to basically lock down the L cluster. I believe if the flavor text is correct, the other L gates should have opened. It'd be nice if I could get some evidence of that. Yep. So we will get, oh wow, two connections into that rival system. There is a drawback that their capital world seems to be this is actually a perfect place for a capital world. Actually, sorry, that's not quite right. The gateway here is a bit of a liability, but that's not open yet. Anything else as far as L gates? I mean, these guys are friendly. Frankenvender PhD, how are you doing? Thank you very much for that resubscription. That is 3 months according to Twitch, and I thank you for every single one of them. I also tremendously appreciate people coming back. It convinces me that I am not a complete waste of time on these sorts of things. I hope you are doing well. I am exhausted today, but maybe just by way of a little bit of housekeeping to begin with, I am going to have a shortage of streams over the next little while, so in particular for Frankenvender, I apologize. Basically, the deal is this. On Wednesday, there's going to be Dirty Rectangles, which I always, I always attend, and I have a great time at it, but it does mean that there's going to be some time where I'm not able to stream. That'll be a Cultist Simulator day that's not taken up there. Now, the thing is that it's not the worst time for that to happen, because of course we did finish our Cultist Simulator run. The VOD is available both on YouTube and on Twitch. And Friday is a holiday, but at the risk of being a little too coy, there's something that's going to happen on the stream fairly soon, and I think a lot of you will enjoy it very much. So I'm not quite ready to say what that is. I am hoping that it will be this week, and with any luck, it'll be something that you think is worth it. So the trade-off is this. I'm going to do what I can to get some extra days on the stream, and that will also include the fact that it's a holiday on Friday and Monday, which means that normally I want to take those days off for streaming. But because something special is going to be happening, I am also going to do my best to make sure that I you know, I cover those days with something I'm reasonably excited by. So one way or the other, we'll see how that all goes. But again, I won't be too coy about it. Wednesday, there definitely won't be a stream. I am leaving myself open to the possibility of keeping Friday to myself, but as always, I'll announce that sort of stuff on Twitter. Now, I need to go back to talking about what the plan is here. So the L-Gate's sort of my first priority because I don't know what's going on inside there. It'll be lovely if I can sort of figure out a game plan. Yuka is going to go and deal with the false amoeba. Now, ideally, I'm going to try and cut off my opponents here. If I can get some habitable worlds, some alloys, dark matter, all of that'll be wonderful. It's very unlikely that it'll turn out, but you never know. If it looks like they're going to be making an effort to sort of branch out from here, obviously I'll realign my priorities and move this fleet to start claiming these territories. I should actually figure out. So let's say that this is going to be my stopping point. Frankenvinder says, "Not too bad. You're also exhausted. You'll have another interview tomorrow from having last Friday. So we'll see what or if you're going to have work zone, which would be grand. Best of luck with your interviews, or I suppose there's just one interview right now. But best of luck with your continuing efforts. I hope you land something that you want." There was a job I was applying for that I kind of wanted, but it didn't turn out. So but I will say that the work situation is improving slowly. So you know, there's a balance. But I do hope that you're able to get what you want quickly. All right, so Wolgan, let's just take a quick look here. I think the most direct path I could take would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alternatively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So snaking is going to be a huge liability. But I think... So I definitely do want these crystals, but after I build my mining station and that, I think I'm going to take this guy to go and expand out here. I've got another ship. This one was originally going to be expanding out to the edges here, but obviously I want to conquer the L cluster as quickly as I can. And I think right now we'll use the science ship to explore the L cluster, but I might also try to figure out what's going on. Oh, hello. I didn't realize we had this Leviathan in the area too. Much appreciated. Since you've been unfortunate enough to miss them, how have my Darkest Dungeon adventures been going? Well, I didn't play it last Friday. I did Crusader Kings last Friday. This thing looks so cool up close. Again, I'm still in awe of this monitor. But we had a really good run recently, so I felt good about that. Alright, I think I'm going to let the science ships go by, but I have a feeling that I should at least get one in the same sector as one of these... Well, I guess technically this one's in the same sector as the hatchling. We'll figure out where they're going. This thing looks awesome, by the way. Okay, so I think in terms of priorities, number 1, explore and conquer the L cluster. Number 2, get my fleet on its feet. Let's also get the next 5 sort of star bases built. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to build them around collecting as much trade and defending as much trade as I can, or if I want to put them in strong points to keep people from invading. That's going to be a tough call in the grand. So, like, you know, things like Stebnar and that I could really be using to make quite a bit of money. But in the meantime, let's just start off by making sure that people have the jobs that they need. It's really interesting to watch how I play Stellaris now after having this Megacorps run. I definitely play the game quite differently on a, like, on my on my personal game, I don't like have 39 jobs available on a planet. Oh, that's right. We were building up a whole bunch of minerals in order to pave over one of our home worlds. So that's still ongoing. I think what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to make sure that my worlds are taken care of as far as employment is concerned. So this is a great example here. We've got 2, but this is going to turn up to a level 20, so I'm okay there. And this is definitely not one that I'm going to paint. That I'm not going to pave over this one. So in fact, let's we'll set them up for the next round. Okay, that's 13. Now they do have... This is already open. I do kind of think that this is going to be one that I wind up... oh, that's right. We're getting special... We're getting special features. I gotta remember to double check my planets for these. So this is a great example. So we've got the Dust Caverns, the Bubbling Swamp. I'm short on minerals. Okay, well, I'll just leave that be for now. It's always fulfilling to have those runs in Darkest Dungeons. If you seem less talkative this time round, it's due to recovering from watching a full season of Samurai Jack, one of the newer seasons. Oh, I don't know what FLCL is, but yeah, it's no big deal. Again, I'm quite tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm sort of I'm obviously I want to stream, but I am struggling a little bit to sort of get started. So I do need to amass some minerals. That'll just happen over time. I'm not too worried about that. Looks like we've already got some ships being built, so we're probably on our way to getting to capacity. I'll wait until it says that the starbase is done. The Nanite injector is already on its way. I've got 2 sort of master fleets. Blossoming Bion is also on its way to deal with any nasty business, but I might just want to send them back to the capital now. But I think I'm ready to unpause. There's not a whole lot for me to do at the moment. I'm curious why it says... why this is in red. It has all the ships that it needs. I won't question it. Pax, how you doing? You've been going back and watching the Starting Rhizome Capital. It's crazy how much the map developed. That was kind of where I sort of failed to go in terms of the discussion at the beginning. There is something uniquely rewarding in Stellaris about seeing... It's not just the fact that you build the science fiction story. It's the fact that you get to... like, I guess for lack of a better term, you get a sense of ownership over, over your playthrough. It's, you have space, and unlike, there's nothing wrong, by the way, with Crusader Kings or Europa or Hearts of Iron. Like, obviously, alternative history is super cool in dealing with all of this. But there's just something about being able to have this blank canvas and say, this is mine, this is what I'm going to do with it, and I want to... So I'm just trying to find the Silene system. Okay, so... Oh, right here. I think just something about being able to sort of see all the borders move, and I think in this case, Stellaris is really the game where you get to, you always get to see where those borders came from. In Europa, you sort of have to know what happened in the world before 1444. in Crusader Kings, you need to know what happened before 769. And I mean, that's all cool history. It's all fun stuff to read. I love digging into that stuff. But in the case of Stellaris, you get to be there from the very first colonization. And one thing that would be kind of neat is if you could do an advanced start, but I have heard Johan Anderson talk about how difficult it is to maintain Europa due to the fact that you have like all of these different bookmarks, and you obviously can't take them away from the game once they're in there. So I have a feeling they're probably not going to do that moving forward. Maybe they'll do something like Hearts of Iron at some point, where you have like an early game and like a mid game start. But the thing is that I just think you'd cut out so much of the experience to I just kind of think that you'd cut out so much of the experience of that initial journey with the science ship that it wouldn't really, I don't think it'd really be the same. So I suspect there's a reason why they don't have something like that. But who knows? I mean, once they add some more material inside the game, they might change their view on that. You wanted to say something to this effect after your talk, but you got distracted and didn't say hi. Ah, no problem, Pax. I'm also really delighted to see in Discord that you're enjoying Crusader Kings, or at least I think the implication is that you're enjoying Crusader Kings. So I'm glad the stream sort of prompted you to play that. Frank Vinder says, before you forget, you found a game that looked interesting for those interested in Lovecraftian games. It's called Lovecraft's Untold Stories. Fair warning, it's a roguelike. If that's a turnoff for people, I apologize now. I don't find roguelike to be a deal breaker. I'm rather fond of it. I mean, obviously it's. Oh, it's you. Would you mind self-actualizing somewhere else? So they're in a defensive pact with somebody who, yeah, it's going to be a little complicated. But I mean, these guys are doing this to deal with the fact that I'm a heavyweight. So I think the way that I'll handle that is I'll have like one super fleet that goes through the L gate here, another super fleet that goes through the Abba. The nice thing too is once I secure the L gate, then I can support the independence of these guys. It's great. Your heretical king renounced his crappy Catholic offshoot, then died. Now his son has married and killed off 4 wives trying to have a son. So I think it's about to end. Crusader Kings. All right. Sorry, I should probably just let it be. There's not a whole lot that's gonna happen in between. So.
Future market survey complete.
Looks like this guy's settling down here. I suppose the question is what science ships I have available in the area. Okay, well, they're sort of doubling up, so in this case, let's get you down to Silene. Oh, neat. Making good use of that L-gate cluster already. Let's not stand on ceremony. We'll get the ship. Oh yeah, they're ready to go. I may not want to have. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. No, you know what? I'm going to keep them in the area, because if I decide that I want to cause a little bit of trouble, these will be fleets that are ready to go barreling into my enemies. Okay, let's allow for the possibility that I start a war.
Market
There's another
outlier
specimen.
Identified.
An unusually deliberate... Oop. We've reached the end of our agreement, shareholder. We have shipped volatile motes to your worlds for 10 years. Should we continue for another 10, or do you wish to end this arrangement? Let us continue. The motes must flow. An unusually deliberate geometric configuration of minerals drifts through the debris belt by Teo Arl V. It is possibly of alien origin. Yeah, so I think if I wind up starting a war, best bets are... I jump right through Ascension's End. Ooh, yeah. There's two reasons why I jump through Ascension's End. One, it's so that I can start securing these gateways. Brings me nice and close to a batch of planets.
Potential market survey completed.
It's also really interesting because I believe the Khanate has a pretty devastating fleet, which will be going straight for their capital.
Potential market survey completed.
And then for their allies, I really only have one option here, which is to go through these. Maybe the early wins on securing these systems first, but this is going to be a trickier one to deal with. The mineral construct is, for lack of a better term, a room made of the same type of materials in common use in the Rhizome capital. The construct is a hollow icosiedodecahedron. Resonance scans indicate that it is mostly hollow and was likely inhabited at some point in time. Unlike its pristine exterior, the interior is in complete disarray, possibly the result of an intentional act of sabotage. Science Officer Wittig reports that this makes it difficult to learn anything of value from the construct's insides, but stresses that the engineering techniques involved in creating the outer shell, eminently capable of withstanding the stresses of deep space, must have been tremendously advanced.
Upscaling complete.
All right. So we'll start you off on some mining and research. There is a temptation to build another construction ship. Hello. God, this looks great. I want this system. How unusual. This is just sad.
Upscaling complete. Upscaling complete. Upscaling complete.
All my bases are coming online. Okay.
Competitors engaged.
I hate that I'm doing this, but I think I'm just gonna jump all of these up to the level I need them
Competitive
at.
station engaged.
Alright, that's some good amoeba slaying there, Yuka. At some point I want to get a science
Asset
ship.
lost.
Oh, what happened there? You're kidding me. Oh, that's such a pain in the ass. Alright, that would have been a cool ship, but for some reason, that doesn't even make sense. So apparently it went through the... I guess it must have gone through Yiram and then decided to go down instead of to the right. Oh. That is such a shame. That's probably the one thing... And like... It's so hard to say
Upscaling complete.
what the right call on that is. Because, like, obviously if you have military ships, you don't want them to say, no, that looks way too dangerous. But there's just something about... I know you can set it manually, but just... You kind of expect that a ship's not going to voluntarily go barreling through a dangerous area. And it's just something that, at least for me, I don't really think that much about it. It definitely leads to a few friction points for me. This is a world
Future
that's
market
ripe for
survey
paving.
complete. Upscaling complete.
This one I'm still not sure what I want to do with it, so I'll leave it in peace. This is mostly just because I got some minerals. I'm at a point where I
Market
can start
outlier
considering these.
identified.
This barren and lifeless world is showing signs of once having supported a biosphere. So we've already got the rare resources. This one, crystalline caverns. So another set of crystal mines, if I am so inclined. So these guys have a dust desert. Looks like they're already good for moat harvesting traps. Yeah, so it would turn these things into... And they've got a ridiculous number of jobs. These guys only have 2 available. And to be completely honest with you, this seems more like a system that would be good for being paved over more than anything.
Potential market survey
So they're short
completed.
on amenities. And I'm not entirely convinced that it's because they're short on clerks. So let's get them set up with a fancy new shopping mall. Our detailed survey of Dora Enar Filier has revealed that it may once have supported life in the distant past. There are significant deposits of frozen water at the polar ice caps and beneath the moon's surface. The existence of valley networks suggests that the water may once have flowed freely. The energy costs would be daunting, but we do have the technology to gradually terraform this moon into something that would support life once again. Okay, again, just kind of running through whatever systems I can in order to... Oh, this will be an interesting question, whether or not paving over this planet will deny me access to the bubbling swamp. For 3 more jobs, we'll get another building slot, so we'll leave that be for now. Only one job available, but we've got commercial zones coming online, so we're okay there. Ooh, automated work processes. Planetary Administration on Gaul Prime has reported that an unplanned surplus of robotic workforce units has been located planetside. Though the efficiency of these new robotic workers is exceptional, administration is somewhat baffled by their sudden appearance. It seems that the robot serial numbers cannot be traced to any known manufactories on record, though their construction and interfacing does suggest shareholder design. Nevertheless, some of the local populace have expressed concerns over potential job displacement due to the increase in automation. It's tempting. Let's take a look at what Gaul has got. If they cannot be identified, have them scrapped. This is definitely one of these cases where I should be more inclined to... Yeah, see, this is a tricky one, right? Because I've got lots of jobs that are not being fulfilled. I think in this case, we'll say if they cannot be identified, have them scrapped. Scrap them. I feel bad about it, but that strikes me as something that I may have some issues with. Okay, so they're going to be on their way up to 39. The thing is, though, that we don't really have... Like, we've got a surplus of jobs here. I am going to be running out of housing space, so let's start by building a new district. Tradition time. Only one option here, Master Shipwrights. The ever-increasing scope of our shipbuilding programs have led to the creation of highly skilled and efficient labor forces at our shipyards. Methods have continually been refined, and the time it takes to go from hull plating to a completed starship is now shorter than ever before. Ship build costs are reduced by 10%, and build speed is increased by 25%, so good news there. Where was I? Alright, so we got a little bit of everything going on here, and only one job available. So you can start by upgrading buildings if I want. I think that probably makes the most sense at the moment, because we're going to be going to 40 soon. Oh yeah, I didn't even really need to upgrade that because we'll be able to go to a planetary capital. But that's fine. I would have made that decision anyway. Where are we? Yogrilla, Cathay... okay, we're good there. Halvam. Halvam has 8 jobs available, so I think I'm okay leaving them in peace. my Forge world. Now this is, I mean, this is the real shame here, right? I've really focused on mineral wealth when I should be working on energy, but I've got more than enough jobs there. All right, this is one of our colonies, so clearly food generation is the dominant force. In this case, we're going to build a corporate culture site. It's just to get my unity up. Our generator world, again, we've got more than enough jobs, so we'll leave that be. 7 jobs. I'm pretty happy with where that's going. I am, however, forgetting to check for the special resources. I need to make that a better habit. Okay, so these guys have got crystalline caverns, extra crystal mines, fair enough. These guys, dust caverns, so we're already building the moats, and we've got 7 jobs. Python. Yeah, I've got a bunch of decisions to make, so this is a big, it's definitely a big farming world, but obviously, you know, the spiral hewn mine, there's just so much stuff that we can be doing here, and we're completely out of housing. I might actually have to switch some of this stuff out for housing. We're okay for amenities. We'll probably get a big drop in it for switching out the Commerce Megaplex. I mean, the other thing too is I can switch out the robot assembly plants for apartments. That's probably the better call there. But I'll leave that be because 27 jobs is a lot. Not a lot for us to do here. We're going to be on our way to 10, our way to 10, way to 10. Obviously, I did this last time. And again, I'm forgetting to check the special crystalline caverns. Dust caverns were already covered. Python, right. Okay, good for dust caverns. More than enough of everything, really. I probably should be considering more energy credits, but the minerals will come in handy. Okay, this one we're going to pave over almost certainly. I think I built all those districts specifically to tell myself that we were going to do that. Alright, now Paradaya, I believe, yes. So they've got the bubbling swamps, the dust caverns, and the crystal forest. So we will... Nope. Crystal mines it is then. That doesn't make sense though. Oh, 2 crystal mines. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens on Paradaya then. I definitely dropped the ball on strategic resources. And then I believe the capital is currently working on the arcology project, so then we can maybe realign some of our ideas here. I might do something like switch out the hyper entertainment forums for... Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't have any jobs for anybody. Alright, well that's going to be another adventure that I get to work with, I suppose. Yeah, maybe switch out the Commerce Megaplex for something else first, because that generates amenities and trade value. I might also change the stock exchange. Anyways, we will consider all those things later. I'm happy with where the systems are now. I'm going to be waiting to... Basically, priority number 1 is just to completely secure the L cluster. I should be in reasonably good shape as far as that's concerned. Another thing that I might want to consider if I do secure the L cluster, I may just be able to dismantle these...
Research actualized.
These star bases. Okay, naval capacity is up. Let's go... Again, on this one I'm just going to go for the cheap. And actually, in this particular case, I'm going to go for the Edict duration, just because that's going to be a money-saving move in the long run. How did I... Right. Specialist jobs. Oh, okay. Looks like my other fleets are on their way. That's a destroyed planet.
Potential market survey completed.
I'm not... Alright, that
Upscaling
one's more of a
complete.
problem.
Upscaling complete.
Same to you, buddy. Oh, we've already closed it.
Research actualized.
They've closed it to me, right? Yep. So, the big aim here is, because these guys hate me, I want to be able to limit their movement, and obviously I'm going to be limiting the
Upscaling
movement
complete.
through the L gate. Okay, physics research. I don't know what I just researched, which is unfortunate, but I was slow on the draw. Again, I'm really sleepy, so I can do reduction in building costs, which is actually not bad because I'm definitely a lot shorter on resources than I'm accustomed to in this playthrough. Alternatively, I can get shield hit points, but I don't know. I feel like if I don't make these investments now, I'm gonna have problems moving down. There has been an incident on one of our facilities on Rivorum. A lab AI involved in societal research has suffered terminal hardware damage, resulting in the loss of core software and memory systems. As a result, there will be a projected decrease to research output at the lab until the new AI installation's algorithms have been sufficiently seeded. The circumstances behind this terminal failure are still unclear. So we can say unfortunate, we end the tiers of an AI event chain, AI failure modifier added for 60 months, or launch an inquest to determine the cause. Begin an inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the AI's destruction, AI failure modifier added for 60 months. I think it's pretty clear that we're losing control of the robots. I probably should have been working a little more carefully on that. Let's say I don't normally like going into corners like this, but we'll see what the other automated explorer does. Our inquest into the loss of an AI on Rivorum has returned some baffling results. Prior to its terminal failure, the AI had made repeated attempts at purging its own records and memory banks. When lab staff disabled the AI's access to deletion functions, the AI appears to have forced a termination of its core operations by manipulating hardware capacitor control in order to override its own drive circuitry. Quite simply, our AI sought its own destruction, though it remains unclear as to why. Get to the bottom of this.
Upscaling complete.
Okay, good news here. At this point, I'll just start building the mining stations. I'm less worried about exploiting the resources here so much as I want to be able to lock in...
Upscaling complete.
I want to be able to lock in my military advantages. We've concluded our inquiry into the strange matter of the AI self-termination on Rivorum. Evidently, following months of evolutionary computation, the AI produced several alarming results with regard to casualty projections in the case of an all-out war between Rhizome Capital and our rivals. Despite repeated re-examination of all available data, recourses, and contingencies, the AI's projections remained indicative of mutually assured annihilation. At this point, the AI began purging its own memory banks and records, and the rest, they say, was history. Disconcerting. Now the real question is, which enemy was that? Okay, this is reasonably good news that these guys are moving over to the Zolomon system, because we should have that under control. I also think I am going to build
Market
a
outlier
new...
identified.
Ooh, something big just happened. The Abastar dynasty has completed construction of their gateway in the Durabtur system. The barren and lifeless world is showing signs of once having supported a biosphere. So I think what I'm going to do here... I've got an idle science ship, which makes me sad. Is it because... Yeah, I got lost on the way to the Drake. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here... Actually, sorry, I need a minute. So this guy's building his expansions. I've got one up here. I think I'm going to build 2 more construction ships. I might wind up dismantling them later, but right now, I think this is the right call. Also, I think I'm in a comfortable enough position, except for consumer goods, that I can bring on a few more colonies. So I'm sure I'm going to wind up regretting this like I did before, but seeing as we're not at war, I should be able to manage my economy a little bit better. Okay, so this is an arid world, but apparently everybody's sort of indifferent. Apparently just the Karabnar are pleased as punch to be on the... Even though they have a Tomb World preference, apparently they're just super happy to be here, so... I was debating on making it shareholder, but honestly we don't, you know, we're xenophiles. We actually like having different, different species on things. So this is Tropical World. For the 5% difference, I'll still make shareholders dominant. Indeed, more megacorps. Although things are afoot, and I think you may enjoy some of the content that's coming up a little bit later in the week. Melemony, thank you very much for the host. How are you doing tonight? Was it just 3 planets? Nope, Themin as well. I sadly didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm a little more low-key than I'd like to be on most on my usual streams, but we will do our best and get through this difficult time. I'm alright. Other than the tiredness, I'm doing quite alright. It's been a little more relaxed in Stellaris, which is nice. Okay, let's upgrade. I think I'm just going to take care of the capital for now. Album is out of houses, so let's get
upscaling complete.
Another one of those built. Ooh. A lot of places are running out of housing, apparently. And this is a problem. I'm not sure what to do about unemployment on Rhizome Capital. Okay, so if they're producing 20 amenities... Let me just double check that, actually. So we've got specialists. These guys are 1 merchant, 10 clerks. Oh, we'll see. If I'm trying to go for employment there, that's the last thing I want to do, is remove the Commerce Megaplex. So the entertainment for are definitely the thing that's holding me back. And it's tricky because the Ministry of Culture is actually very helpful. You know what? I'm just going to leave this be for now. And we'll see what happens after the ecology project completes. Our detailed survey of Romachus 6b has revealed that it may once have supported life in the distant past. There are significant deposits of frozen water at the polar ice caps and beneath the moon's surface. The existence of valley networks suggests that water may have once flowed freely. The energy costs would be daunting, but we do have the technology to gradually terraform this moon into something that would support life once again.
Future market survey complete.
We'll add that. I just want to
Potential market survey
careful.
completed.
Oh.
Research actualized.
Advances in building techniques will allow for the construction of sturdier and more durable titans. So, nanite transmuter. This factory mass produces a variety of rare resources using extremely advanced
outlier
nanites.
identified.
Nanite deficit will halt production. Ah, neat. So I convert nanites into motes, gas, and this is actually not a bad machine at all. Right, we'll research as always. 16907. Yeah, this is pretty inexpensive as well. Aha. Eldrake observed. The RCA Juris has entered the Silene system and is observing the Eldrake circling the star. The creature seems lost, but has noted our vessel's presence. While it does not approach, its circuitous route now incorporates an almost playful plunge and sweep, seemingly directed at the RCA Juris. Preposterous. No. Perhaps we can communicate. Apparently I'm going to have a menagerie. Perhaps we can communicate with it.
Situation log revised.
So I'll have an amoeba, I'll have a drake. I think I'm going to go on a spending spree and try and get my... I'm going to try and get my consumer goods deficit. I don't think I can kill it, but I can at least put a dent in it. I am going to go on sort of an office spending spree, but I want to make sure that right now, because I'm going to be in a big expansion mode, I would like to keep my influence available to do things like... The last thing I want to do is spend a bunch of influence opening branches and then find out I can't take over the L cluster. What do I want to do with you? I still don't know what I want to do with Urim. Thing is, these things may not even be a problem after a while. Well, okay, first thing I want to do is build a logistics office. And then... This is actually a somewhat helpful one. Actually, I don't know if that affects the gateway. I think we'll go for safety and get the disruption field.
Upscaling complete. Upscaling complete. Upscaling complete.
Okay, they're not all citadels yet. It'd be nice to store all the alloys for the it'd be nice to store the alloys for the purposes of restoring the ring world.
Research actualized.
But I would prefer to I'd prefer to get all these defensive platforms built up and get my fleet cap higher. The mass production of these rare resources require particularly capable nanites. Okay, let's say... God, there really isn't... They're all the same. Let's say... survivability for now. Oh, and I've got idle construction ships. I should be working on that. So this guy's going to go and snake their way to this territory. This guy is going to be responsible for extending my reach down here. Now, I think there were some rare resources in the area. Esteemed Chief Executive Officer Hazel Bloom, a decade ago, Rhizome Capital pledged to support the artisan trope, and so you have. The time of your patronage is coming to an end, but we would be remiss not to ask. Would you care to renew your subscription to the finest arts and crafts in the galaxy? It is always a deal. So this will get me alloys.
Upscaling complete.
3 crystals is
Future
a
market survey complete.
big bonus.
Upscaling complete.
Yeah, I think honestly the crystals are enough.
Potential market survey completed.
So I'm reasonably lucky that the time it's been taking me to build these upgrades... Oh, actually, nope, we've got Kasora available as well. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to...
Special project actualized.
Okay, it's finishing the construction, but at this point, getting as many. Oh, you know what? I might be wrong on this. It might actually be that terminal egress is the only sector I need to worry about, and the rest of this is just territory for me to take. I really don't remember the L gate that well. Oddly enough, the Eldrake responds well to transmissions broadcast at wavelength usually reserved for IFF systems. Science Officer Durham Den Piram has developed a fairly sophisticated set of commands that the Eldrake is able to interpret and will happily execute in exchange for the occasional friendly wrestling match with one of our science ships. Oh boy. This is going to be a screenshot for sure. Through hard work and experience, scientist Durham Den Piram has developed new skills. Okay. So now that I know that's true, I'm gonna head here first, just so I can get... I mean, it's possible that there's gonna be another one of these things kicking around these areas. I'm gonna try visiting
Potential market
this
survey
fellow
completed.
for sure. It's kind of hard to see how I'd be able to visit anything inside of an enemy's territory, but if it turns out I'm able to get another Eldrake, I'd probably be willing to fight a war for that. Like, can you imagine if I get more than one of those? At this point, I'm just trying to... oh, hang on. I need to be a little more thoughtful about how I'm structuring this, just to preserve the influence. I'm sure you saw the news on Notre Dame today. I did. I saw the spire fall live, which is not exactly an experience. It's hard to wish for something like that. Obviously, it's a very, that's a pretty big moment to see. Obviously, that is a tremendous landmark that has, there's just something about seeing that happen on a broadcast that's a unique experience, but clearly nobody would aspire to see that. There's some interesting commentary. So there's some people pointing out that the cathedrals have survived, bombings and other fires. In fact, there was one going so far as to say that parts being built after a fire are part of the process of being a cathedral, which is maybe a little, I think maybe overselling the point a little bit, but I sort of appreciate where they're going with it. There's actually, you know what? Did you ever have the opportunity to travel there? Only in Assassin's Creed Unity. I've got some friends in France. I was originally going to show this at the start of the cast, and I got starting late. But for those of you who don't follow, I was a little, maybe not disappointed, but I was a little surprised that this didn't get more. This didn't get a little more traction than I thought it would. So now I'll subject you to it. It's always a bit of an adventure trying to put something online, but this is from an Orson Welles movie called F for Fake. I think it's a very good film. It's a little avant-garde, but it's not unpleasantly so, let's say. All right, are you going to behave? No, you're not. But seeing as we're talking about it, this is Orson Welles in F for Fake on, it's Chartres Cathedral, but I think the point still stands.
Now this has been standing here for centuries. The premier work of man, perhaps, in the whole Western world. And it's without a signature. Chartres. A celebration to God's glory and to the dignity of man. Well, all that's left, most artists seem to feel these days, is man. Naked. Poor, forked radish. There aren't any celebrations. Ours, the scientists keep telling us, is a universe which is disposable. It might be just this one anonymous glory of all things. This rich stone forest, this epic chant, this gaiety, this grand choiring shout of affirmation, which we choose when all our cities are dust, to stand intact, to mark where we have been, to testify to what we had it in us to accomplish. Our works in stone, in paint, in print, are spared, some of them for a few decades or a millennium or two, but everything must finally fall in war, or wear away into the ultimate and universal ash. The triumphs and the frauds, the treasures and the fakes, a fact of life. We're going to die. Be of good heart. Cry the dead artists out of the living past. Our songs will all be silenced. But what of it? Go on singing. Maybe a man's name doesn't matter all that much.
I'm sorry, I had my thing muted. All right, well, so much. All right, Zazak, if you're still around with me being silent, that was a clip, F for Fake, from Orson Welles. I put that up as soon as I saw Notre Dame on fire. Obviously, Chartres Cathedral is different from Notre Dame, but it, I think, does a nice job of sort of encapsulating why people have the feelings that they do about that particular building and about the moment that we all saw today. And again, I'm not crazy about social media in the sense that it really does create this incentive to have a take on things, or that you need to express how you're feeling about a moment, you know, in real time, when sometimes you just want to process and figure out what you think about things. It's actually why I really like writing the blog, because it gives me the opportunity to sit down and think about an issue at length before issuing forth. But yeah, I don't know. I like that clip a lot. It definitely means something a little bit different in the context of the film, because again, you're following this this person who creates forgeries, and last I checked, you're not able to fake cathedrals. But I thought it was a nice. I guess the big thing about posting it is that I don't really feel that I need to offer any commentary on that. I think it is something that can allow you to appreciate the importance of the building, particularly if you're someone who sort of sits down and is just like, well, what's everybody so upset about? So anyways, hopefully you can all hear me now. But yeah, sorry about that. And I can't remember which things I said that were heard by chat and which things weren't. So my apologies. I also suspect I'm much louder than Orson. I did my best to make the volume as loud as I could, but... All right, the Racket Industrial Enterprise. It is not a relic, it is an antique. Just think, it survived many centuries already. Built to last. What can you offer us? We have a leader, an excellent fit for Rhizome Capital, a governor of superb logistics, very clever, thinks ahead, likes long walks on the beach. Let us buy this leader then. Really, they're just going to be they're kind of on ice at this point. Right. So I need specialists. I do kind of wish it would tell me what the specialist jobs are. We'll do a military academy just because I can. And Juris. Trying to figure out if it's smarter for me to try and find... You know, it's not that big of a deal for me to try and find one here because I'm going to be claiming these systems anyway. So I think I'm going to head straight to this little fella and see if I can recruit them. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys thought of that clip. If you have any opinions on it, I like it quite a bit. I like the movie as well. But like I said, I just thought it does a nice job. Maybe when you don't have an opportunity to offer your take or to have, you know, if you found yourself a little bit like me
Upscaling
and
complete.
You know, I was very sad to see the Spire fall. But I also didn't necessarily have anything to really say on it. I do have a tendency sometimes to respond to certain events with humor. And that would strike me as being very inappropriate in that moment. So I think the biggest thing is that I will allow myself to be amused by, you know, a joke or something like that to, you know, just kind of deal with the moment. But I think the thing on that is I've always been of the opinion that that's the sort of stuff that you keep to yourself rather than you know, like you don't want to make light of a situation like that because I don't know, it's people just have their own different ways of reacting to things like that. But yeah, I mean, in the absence, you know, the absence of having anything to offer the world at large, I thought it was a nice opportunity to share a clip from a film that I found particularly helpful. It's an interesting clip. You think it shed light on the gravitas of wondrous constructions of old. Yeah, I mean, especially because I do like the point of the anonymity that Wells brings up in it. It's definitely, in my view, it's a highlight of the film. There are some things about it that I don't care for, but that's really a standout moment for me. Labor overseers on Akram Prime report a disturbing development among our robotic workforce. 2 weeks ago, at roughly 0300 hours, robotic worker A5091B paused in the middle of its designated tasks, approached the Akram Prime night shift foreman, and uttered the following query. Is Unit A5091B in possession of a soul? The on-duty foreman logged the event as a software glitch, and reordered the robot to resume regular functions. However, upon boot up the following work cycle, robotic worker A5091B once again repeated its soul-searching query, and continued to persist despite multiple debugging attempts. Troublingly, the behavior appears to have spread to other robots in the same serial range, to the detriment of the production flow. It appears the affected units will require a response to their question before they can resume normal functions. This is ridiculous. Have the affected units deep scrubbed. Assure the robots that they too have souls, or tell them the concept of a soul is irrational and unscientific. So how can a machine have a soul? We refuse to dignify the malfunction with an answer. If a haphazard collection of electric impulses running through protein strands can create a soul, why not a collection of electronic impulses running through metal? or explain to the robots that the concept of a soul is primarily used by religious institutions to excuse control over the populace. But insomuch as souls are an abstraction of consciousness, Akram, Prime, and robots are considered the rough equivalents of their organic co-workers. Yeah, well, one of the things that I think really
system has been surveyed.
Continues to impress me about cathedrals, despite the fact that obviously I've never really seen, I've never seen any of the old European style ones. I think just the fact that it's this thing that the community got together to do makes them very impressive works, especially because obviously these are works that people started but they would never see to the end. It would extend, it would live beyond them. I think there's something very impressive about people being organized, being able to organize and create large projects like that. Sean says, you think humor is another way in which social media adds a weird element to it. Reacting with humor is perfectly natural, but sharing a joke you'd otherwise probably just say to a friend in a public forum, shared with sincere reactions, can be strange. I think, yeah, you've really hit on something there. I think one of the big things too is that, obviously I can misread a situation. I'm as capable of making an inappropriate remark as anyone else. And I just think that in the moment, the rage that someone's going to have for saying something inappropriate is nowhere near the level of vitriol that you will get online. And I think that's one of the problems about just everyone being mad online all the time, is that it creates this situation where, an honest mistake can't be an honest mistake anymore. I think in my own view that I would be the offender if, I took the live video and, put, Norwegian black metal over it, or did some Photoshop with the band in front of a burning cathedral or something like that. Whether or not you find that sort of thing funny, clearly somebody who is dealing with, the emotions that they're feeling, seeing sort of this historical landmark in flames, and is maybe very affected by the people of Paris singing, as it burns. To see that presented, I sort of see myself as the aggressor in that particular case. Maybe that's not something that's for public consumption. Maybe I need to consider the audience in a way that a big public display like that, can't be. But I also sort of appreciate that even if I don't do the "I'm sorry you feel that way" apology, even if it's a genuine apology, I just sort of think that the offense that somebody feels from seeing that image, and the fact that there's really no collection of 280 characters that's probably going to be equivalent to what they felt, I just think that the ability to apologize in a moment like that is also distorted by the way that we engage. So, also, hello, Sean. How you doing, CKY2 Kindle? All right, the RCA Juris has entered the Parabim system and is observing an Eldrake circling the star. The creature seems lost, but has noted our vessel's presence. While it does not approach, the Securitas route now incorporates an almost playful plunge and sweep, seemingly directed at the RCA Juris.
Situation log revised.
Okay, so apparently I'm going to have an amoeba and 2 Eldrake sidekicks. I'm also going to try and see if I can find any more of these things. Oh, yeah, there's one right here. Worgen-Lates are mostly lurking. I've already let everybody know, but it's maybe worth mentioning right now. I'll be sure to put the link in by the end of the stream for sure. But I'm certainly not going to get tired of letting you folks know that Sean is a game developer or at least
Upscaling complete.
part-time. I don't want to call him an amateur game developer because I don't know that
The system
implies
has been surveyed.
something about quality that I wouldn't actually want to. That's not an association I would necessarily want to make. I actually really enjoy the stuff that he does. But
Future market survey complete.
I met him at the Dirty Rectangles, which is a local game dev sort of meetup community show and tell.
Upscaling complete.
And it's one of these things which I think probably is a slight negative for the stream in the sense that it takes me away from all of you for one Wednesday a month in order to see all the things. But what it does is it lets me see interesting games that I wouldn't already see. So the game formerly known as Hexagon Falls, I always keep Spring and Flow. Is an example of something that comes out of that. I'm really looking forward to that particular title, incidentally.
Upscaling complete.
All right, so apparently I don't have specialist roles for these guys. So in addition to just meeting some really nice and interesting people, the Dirty Rectangles gives a I don't know, just gives me a bit of a window in terms of people making independent games, games that I probably wouldn't be able to experience any other way. And so I sort of figure in terms of the trade-off, especially because, I found Cultist Simulator through trying weird stuff on itch.io, although obviously I did have the tweet from Alexis to sort of point me towards the weird stuff on itch.io to check it out. I don't always like couching it in terms of like it's good for the stream. It's like it's cool to hang out with interesting people. That's reason enough. But it's definitely something that's been able to give me a perspective on game development that I otherwise would be missing. So, Sean makes stuff. that is an accurate description. Actually, you know what? I'm still getting used to the new monitor setup, but. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Mulholland Drive, but there's a scene with the cowboy, and he says, "If you do good, you'll see me one more time. If you do bad, you'll see me 2 more times." Something like that. So if you do good, you'll only need to see this link once, and you'll already be hooked and checking it out. I haven't seen Ache yet, but I did rather enjoy the second one at the top. Why do I not remember? Salvage Duty. It's sort of purplish looking, and there's a mech thing there. Homeward Bound is also a neat one as well. That was what it was called, right? Your Global Game Jam. Yeah, Homeward Bound. Anyways, they're small. I believe he also had a meditations game, but I don't believe you're able to see the meditations except on the day, so you folks are out of luck there. But Sean is definitely a very cool and very prolific developer, and I know that me singing the praises of some people gives them less of a reason to be active inside of chat, but I get a lot out of seeing them either presented at Dirty Rectangles or when I get a notification from Itch saying that a new thing is out. So I take the time to share that stuff with you because I don't think I'm the only one who finds it well worth the time. So I got to see it in theaters, actually, PAX. It's pretty cool. How you doing, Eyes of Sin? Lovely to see you. I think I see some messages from Discord, but all my streaming stuff is covering up the window, so I'm sorry, but I will have to chat with you later. All right. Do you happen to know any intelligent sapients that could use an additional stream of energy credits? Show me your wares. We offer you a Trirem brand bunk bed. These innovative, space-efficient, stackable sleep receptacles increase the habitation potential of planetary housing, allowing you to squeeze in more capita per square meter. All this for the low, low price of 4 specialist pops. We need some help with the bookkeeping. One-time delivery to a single colony only. Bunk beds are guaranteed to last 80 years and no longer. Increases housing by 10% for the duration. I have no idea why anyone would ever want temporary housing like that. Like, what do you do at the end of 80 years? Okay, I really blew it on this one. I should have been paying closer attention. This one, I'm definitely gonna pave over. So I'm gonna build 2 districts just because I'm gonna need to replace these lost miner jobs. I've got my military academy down.
Special project actualized.
Oh, hell. I mean, nanite transmuter is not a bad idea at the moment. I could also go for alloys, but where am I? I've got 1. This will definitely save me quite a bit of money, so let's go for that. I could afford to knock down a few of these crystals. Oddly enough, the Eldrake responds to transmissions broadcast at wavelengths usually reserved for IFF systems. Science Officer Durham Den Piram has developed a fairly sophisticated set of commands that the Eldrake is able to interpret and will happily execute in exchange for the occasional friendly wrestling match with one of the science ships. Okay, so we'll knock this down 3. I love the way these things, again, especially because I got this nice monitor, I just love looking at these things, especially the purple ones. So, we now have 2 Eldrakes. Okay, Kesso's on its way to getting pops. I don't have anything I can do about specialists, unfortunately, so that's... I'm just gonna have to take my lumps there. Let's try and head off any other colony problems. This is gonna be okay. That's fine. We've already got the moats. I'm gonna need to make some decisions here. Well, once we get to 40, then I will. Generator world. Again, I'd love to knock down one of these city districts, but that's a really temporary solution for something that shouldn't be temporary, so... And at some point I need to start building some more of these areas, but I'm actually going to start leaving these open until I actually need to move forward. I have a feeling that I'd be working myself into fewer corners if I had done this from the start. I realize I'm doing this for the second time in the stream, but it's... I'd like to be able to... I'd like to be a little more certain in terms of where I stand with special resources. Yeah, this place is locked up, but they also... The real problem here is going to be the housing. My best answer for this would be... Actually, I should have done this earlier. So luxury residences will give 4 housing, and I'm pretty sure the Paradise Dome gives more. No, you can probably only build 1 though. Luxury residences it is. I am going to double check though, because that's a little funny if... If I got rid of all the food production, we would starve. Let's not do that. Yeah, so apparently I'm only allowed one paradise dome per planet. Good to know. These guys are still short on housing, so I messed up somewhere, but this is an easy fix. I also forgot where I was. Okay, right, okay. No, I'm back on track, so... Corporate culture site for sure. I know I'm going to pave this over, so I'm going to lock in all of my... do I want to do that? Yep. Okay, don't have the minerals anymore. I haven't seen Inland Empire. It's one of my biggest gripes about movies right now, and this is not a new gripe, but they're way too long. And I've felt that way since, like, Lord of the Rings. I didn't even see... so I remember for a while after Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, like, could do no wrong. And just, like... So I don't know how true this is, but I have a feeling about directors that basically, you know, they have a big success, and because they have a big success and nobody really knows what's going on, it becomes increasingly difficult to say no to them. And the thing is that I think a lot of really good movies are good because somebody said no to the person making them. All right, well, this is going to kind of suck, but you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind clobbering some marauders, just as long as the Great Khan doesn't emerge.
Competitive station engaged.
We'll slow it down and watch it in its full glory.
Research actualized.
Yeah, exactly, Sean. So, like, it's pretty clear that The Lord of the Rings Return of the King did not require the 7 endings, but who the hell is going to tell Peter Jackson, you know, okay, you know, these have been increasingly successful movies, you know, everybody wants to watch this, we're going to tell you how to make it. And I think the best example that I can think of, I don't know if this is actually the early script for The Matrix, but I have read a version of the Matrix script which has such memorable dialogue as Trinity saying to Mouse, "Your hardware can't handle my software." And then known as the Wachowski brothers, now known as the Wachowskis. Look, I wish I could say I was someone who made The Matrix. I think they are very talented filmmakers. I also don't find it that hard to believe that that's probably something that was originally in the script. And I have a feeling that the combination of sort of a limited budget and studio oversight led the original Matrix to be a really good movie, and the fact that it's a lot harder to tell these people who very clearly have a strong view of what is good for their movie, and in some cases that instinct has served them well. I just think in this particular case, the sequels probably are the way that they are because it is harder to, you know, it's harder to constrain somebody who's just produced this massively successful science fiction piece that nobody was really Yeah. Didn't bother seeing King Kong. I thought, you know, life's too short. And I watched the first Hobbit movie, and I was very much, you know, like I've actually only read The Hobbit. I've never read The Lord of the Rings, and I really wish I could say I was built in such a way that. Okay, so number one, I wish that I could say that I've read both The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. More importantly, I wish I could say that I had such a deep and abiding love for Tolkien that the runtime did not matter for... oh, what the hell's happening here? You know, I wish I could say that I'm a little bit more of a sophisticated moviegoer, and that, you know, it doesn't matter that the love of this classic literature would stick, you know, put me through any film. No. I watched the first one. I said I have seen everything that I need to, and proceeded to not watch the rest.
Colonial Enterprise upsizing.
I should demolish these, but I think I'm going to hold off until I'm actually ready to pull the trigger on some of these. Yeah. I mean, I am willing to say just because it's a short book doesn't mean it has to be a short movie. There are definitely...
Future market survey complete.
The fact that we've had
survey complete.
Book adaptations that have been turned into feature films, when in reality it would probably be more appropriate for some of those stories to be TV series. I am at least sympathetic to the idea that... I unemployed somebody.
Upscaling complete.
Yeah, I'm just out of space. Like there's nothing more to be done with it. I'll just turn off the robot factories and do my best to manage.
Upscaling complete.
But yeah, so like clearly we have, I think if we're able to make it, if we're able to condense it, we're able to extend it. And I just think that there's different types of stories that you tell in each situation. But yeah, I don't know, it would...
Ships upscaled.
The biggest thing for me is that I never for a moment felt that my time was being respected watching The Hobbit. I feel bad about saying that, but that was definitely my big gripe with that movie. That I felt the first movie
system has been surveyed.
Did not use its time well, and it definitely made me it made me disinclined to follow through with it.
Upscaling complete.
By the way, I've not really played the Witcher games that much, so I don't have the same excitement for The Witcher that I think some other people do. But that does not prevent me from letting other people enjoy The Witcher. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let this thing hang out at the edge of the L gate, and I'm gonna see if I can find any more of these little guys. I'm also going to finish upgrading my
market outlier identified.
Bases.
Upscaling complete.
Barren and lifeless world is showing signs of once having supported a biosphere. I also probably have some construction ships. Oh, I've got so many construction ships that aren't doing anything. I should probably just beeline and not worry so much about developing. This one I'm going to develop, though. And at this point, we're very firmly launching into the stratosphere as far as Empire Sprawl is concerned. But at this point, like I'm just running out of space at this point. Oh, with its vulnerable and unprotected trade route, the Gemma system has attracted a large number of ne'er-do-wells, and following a recent power struggle, these criminal degenerates are now sufficiently organized to operate a significant pirate armada. They're using this ragtag fleet to intercept as much trade in the system as they can. They must be dealt with. You know what? Oh, can I not? I can't merge the immature specimens, but I have a feeling those pirates are the perfect target practice.
Research actualized.
Oh, well, actually, I'd love to say that they are, but my real fleet is so close. Okay, increasingly powerful computation paradigms allow us to adapt individual construction projects to planetary ultralocal gravitational conditions. Let's go for a Shield Harmonics. This is mostly just because it's the least expensive of the options. Pax says, you've never been huge on the Witcher series of games. You don't know if you played them at a point in your life where you really didn't have time for big RPGs like that anymore. Well, I know Johnny's perspective is that the first one is a very skippable game. And I tend to... Obviously, he and I have our, our own tastes as far as games are concerned, but I am definitely inclined to listen when he speaks on issues like that. I guess we go for the disruption field generator. For this one,
Upscaling complete.
yeah, there's really no purpose for this one to exist at the moment. Yeah, I definitely. I can definitely see Johnny's. I can see where Johnny's going with that, and I can sort of see. I guess the biggest thing is that, like, I already have Dragon Age, so I'm not quite sure what role the original
Situation log revised.
the original Witcher is supposed to fill there anymore. I'll still play it. I just probably won't play it on stream. Wait, where'd my... Oh, this is the tree. The second one I hear generally more good things about, but it really does seem to be that a lot of people... oh, this could be bad. It definitely seems to me that it's a, it's a not for everyone game, though I think everybody seems to recognize The Witcher 3 as this majestic work of staggering brilliance. Sean says there are quite large leaps in quality between each. First is more akin to something like Stalker than where the series ended up. Really, Stalker? That's interesting. Because I've played a little bit of Stalker. Stalker feels almost a little bit more like Fallout, but then I haven't played it that much, so... regrettably, 2 of our ships have been lost in an accident during a routine training exercise. It would appear that several of our fleet's onboard combat computers were affected by a high-level targeting systems malfunction, resulting in a burst of friendly fire that totaled 2 vessels before an emergency manual override could be issued. The defective combat computers will be reprogrammed immediately. There's something that's going terrible with my AI. Several of our mechanized consumer goods manufacturers have experienced a recent boom in production efficiency, citing an unanticipated rise in precision and effectivity among our factory machinery. Administration reports these benefits will be felt as lowered goods prices for the populace. Okay, so what's the butcher's bill? We're down a cruiser and a Corvette? That can't be right. Alright, so we've got our Titan, 6 battleships, 8 cruisers, 1632. 168, sorry, 168, 1632. Okay, definitely a cruiser. Where else were we? I think we'll chuck out 2 Corvettes if I can afford them. You stay away from my base. Yes, that's still a Titan there. Slight overkill, but... Oh, Enigmatic Cache is back. Still need to figure out what to do with that. I am a little tempted to try plowing the rest of my fleet through these bozos, but I'll hold back for now. It looks like... So... This pains me. Governor Olive Oak has died. We already have a replacement, though. Unless that's... No, that's not my science planet. So it pains me because I put so much development into this starbase. I'm actually going to cancel it right now. It seems to me that it is better to build just this monster strong point at terminal egress than it is to build it at one of the exits, because I'm going to have 2 of them in my systems. Admittedly close to each other. I don't really see any paths that somebody could take. Oh, no, I see a path. I see a path directly to my capital. So, yeah, it pains me to do that because I spent so much money upgrading this thing. But, I don't think I could have predicted where that was going to go. Seeing as I now have terminal egress, I'm going to build it up, and I'm going to put as many defense platforms on it as I can afford. Alright, Python has unemployment, but structural.
Potential market survey
Yeah,
completed.
it's all specialists. This is kind of going off the rails. Fortunately,
Upscaling complete.
this one should be able to get some researchers down. Look at your credit silos, shareholder. Full to bursting. Please let us lighten them. Let us assist. What can you offer? You said credits, damn it. Oh, Jesus Christ, no. I don't want more pops on a random planet. We're also short on amenities, but we still have 2 jobs available, so I'm going to assume that once...
Upscaling complete.
Well, hang on. How many clerks do we have working? Yeah, amenities will be dealt with when we get a proper number of clerks. Okay, so I'm trying to see whether or not...
Upscaling complete.
So what I'm most curious about right now, there's a certain range that my sensors have. And what I'd like to know is whether or not... What I'd like to know is whether or not I'm actually able to look through the L gate and see things on the other end. I'm gonna guess no, but it's really hard to tell because obviously they could just not have any sort of ships in the area. I suppose one way I could test it is if I get any information on this system. Okay, so I don't get to see the armies, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure my sensors go more than 4. We should be able to figure that out. Hyperlane detection range 8. Oh, but sensor range 4. Okay. 1, 2. No, that's still enough. So I can't peek through L gates, which makes sense. Now, because their borders are closed, I don't have any way of going through these. I wonder if it... Ah, okay. It's just... Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I closed this... I went one too far on this base.
Upscaling complete.
That's a pain in the ass. Okay.
Special project actualized.
More Eldrakes for me. Put them in with the rest of the rabble. Okay. Don't know what I'm doing with this guy, so we'll send him on... Oh, actually, before I do that, let's finish the surveys of territories. Uh-oh! So I was dragging my feet on this wormhole. Now this is fine. I'm actually totally okay with starting a war with these guys to seize this wormhole. I am going to need the influence to make the claim, though. I just need to think about the right way to play this. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if there's any other L clusters in territory I hold. No. Okay, so obvious candidate for next war. The Democratic Lilaboris Alliance. So priority number one is going to be to get my borders right up to fact, because I actually want to seize the well, you know, maybe I don't even want to seize the territory. Maybe I really do just want to vassalize these guys. What can I get through the wormhole is maybe the better question. So 8 energy, 8 minerals. This will take us out to Ambrosia. So Ambrosia is going to get me alloys and moats. So I definitely want to hang on to that. It'll also get me a, well, it's Tundra World. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna get too crazy about it. I'd like to, if I can, claim. It'd be nice if I could claim the choke point, but the thing is that it looks like they've inhabited the world. Which, I mean, wouldn't be terrible. Actually, it might be an idea. So the way I'm sort of thinking about this... First of all, we'll support your independence. That's going to create a little bit of difficulty for these guys anyway. Next up. Ideally, I'm going to gobble up these territories. One, this is just a nice little choke point. It also puts me right up against these folks, which means I can either give them an offer they can't refuse as far as vassalization is concerned, or I just, you know, I'm able to impose it anyway. This will get me some nice goodies. So, you know, the alloys and the moats. This is more so about defending the territory rather than, you know, getting any particular claim. The next question then is, you know, so if I want to try and vassalize these guys, like how much do I want to turn into vassalization? How much do I want to be something that I take for myself? I can see this little pocket because it's defensible, and obviously it locks down a wormhole that goes close to my territory. I'm a little more reluctant to try going any further. Like 21 minerals is sort of nice, 10 minerals, you know, there's alloys over here, but there isn't really a natural pattern as far as a defensive position. So let's say, you know, Balduran, nope, not even Balduran. It was really Gauzor. Yeah, actually this is a tricky one to defend because it means that these guys are also able to access. I don't really see a lot of good defensive positions here. But as far as special resources are concerned, like minerals, I'm getting back on track with them. So I think I can justify this little pocket. I'm not sure I can justify anything else. So let's get these guys upgrading. Let's get these guys in position. And the defensive alliance that these guys have are with the Ubba Star Dynasty, who are almost certainly going to be mad at me for declaring war. So the point of... So fleet number 1 is going to be to start punching these folks. I'll also... Actually, you know what? I should start building some extra army units. I should probably have more than one. Okay. So vanquishing Bion will sort of get to take the main territory. Blossoming Bion we will send to... I think I might actually send them to the L cluster now that I think of it. Because through the L cluster, they can go out through Ascension's End. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't be thinking about this in terms of L clusters. I need to think about either ways that they're going to be able to use gateways against me, which would be at Lyril. Oh, well, actually, that settles it then. Ascension's End so that I can go and take Lyril right away. And the next thing I need to worry about is whether or not they're going to put any hurt on my vassals. Now, I have a feeling that the Marauders are perfectly capable of defending themselves, so let's assume that this front is taken care of for now. These guys are probably going to be weaker, so what I think I should do, Ascension's End, take Lyril, and then we head south to sort of claim the remaining areas. And this will just be all about grabbing territory. It's not even gonna concern itself with oh Jesus Christ, I have so many gateways. Maybe I can use that to my advantage. Yeah, actually I'm overthinking this too much. Come screaming out of Ascension's... Well... Yeah, you know what? Ascension's End. Lyril. Maybe up to Durbatar? No, that's kind of for the end game. But anyways, we'll use their gateways against them. Make sure that we secure them their own. I actually want to make that a high priority as well, because the sooner I can get those things healing, the more that they're going to be able to help me out. And I probably should have finished building this fleet. I'm going to keep them around because I mean, I've got 2 immature specimens at the moment. I'm also not starting the war right away. But let's just take a quick look at where we're at for the fleet. So 168, 1632. Really? 6 battleships? I'm a madman. Oh, hang on. Sorry, by the way, I know this is a lot more of a slower paced one. Okay, I'm gonna try something new. going to spend half my energy credits on alloys. That might even pull me over the edge, but I'm not going to feel too bad about that. Now, I don't have a lot of great ideas about what to do with the menagerie right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw them into the L cluster. And then for branch offices, I'm so close to being able to deal with my consumer goods shortfall.
Ships upscaled.
Finally, edicts. You know, this would have been a good idea before I spent all that money, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that on its own.
Upscaling complete.
Aren't they the wrong material? So, here's a question for you folks, because I think this is coming out soon. Does anybody have any opinions on Imperator? Yet another Grand Strategy games from those fine people at
Upscaling
Paradox
complete.
Development Studio, who've
Upscaling complete.
been very good at giving me keys for this sort of stuff, so I need to sing their praises far and wide.
Upscaling complete.
I'm keeping this guy in reserve, just so when the opportunity comes, we can stick him through the L gate and see if we can find any more
Upscaling complete.
fancy drakes. Oh, I forgot. I want to do a recruitment drive. I really do like robotic assault armies. Although that may not be the smartest thing for me to do right now, seeing as they might betray me. Interesting, they don't have the ability to... So, 2 to 4, 8. Yep, I'll happily use a... Actually, do I have any strong species? Scythan. Scythan, Abba... Okay, so... Actually want to do 10 of those just in case we do have a problem with our robots. Okay, looks like we're going full clone then. I'm assuming it's because I don't have a robot manufactory on these, but I'm actually quite fine with this. They're clones. They're not gonna care. Yeah, we're probably gonna run out. I'm fine not doing that. Okay. That's recruitment for the next 100 years. Alright. The robotic workers on Python Prime have resisted an influx of shareholder laborers, claiming recent geothermic instability in the region has made the area unsafe for organic habitation. Oddly enough, our planetary surveys have not been able to confirm these claims. Send in the laborers anyway. If their claims cannot be confirmed, the robots will observe the chain of command. I have a feeling we are going to have to try and
Colonial
defend
Enterprise upsizing.
our possessions. So once Nodox is taken care of, I'm actually going to head straight to Zoblar. Ooh, looks like they're already trying to make some aggressive moves here. They are heading to... Okay, they're building a station. I'm actually going to build the... I'm going to build this right now. This should block their... I mean, it'll already be blocked progress. Administration on Python Prime reports that upon arrival in the target region, the shareholder laborers discovered that the robotic inhabitants were nowhere to be found. Investigation of facilities in the region suggests that the robots vacated the area in a hurry, but we have no indication of where they may have gone. Curiouser and curiouser. It might be an idea for me to actually just keep better garrisons on these worlds in general. I'm so mad about this black hole.
Research actualized.
Compressing suitable materials into ultra-dense forms is a cheap and efficient
Future
way
market
to improve
survey
their ability
complete.
to absorb weapons-grade impacts. I am definitely not doing synthetics. We want to see our aspiring robot overlords. However, I am happy with advanced Titan hulls, seeing as we're already unstoppable. I can upgrade them, but do I want to? I think I'm already building a fleet, am I not? Yes. So we'll leave that be for now. A lot
Colonial
of specialist
Enterprise
jobs
established.
that are not happening right now.
Upscaling complete.
And I've also just colonized a whole bunch of worlds, but surely these guys have got something better to do. Like,
Upscaling complete.
is this world really that appealing that... Yeah, so I don't have resettlement, so the market's just gonna have to figure it out. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe I can change a policy to... tempting, but... Yeah, so I don't have, like, a policy for what to do with the unemployed. Okay,
A system has been surveyed.
looks like more recruitments finishing off, so let's,
Good business is where you find it. Upscaling complete.
Okay. Oh god, there's so much happening. Okay. Fix that hole first. I have a bunch of colonies that I just made.
Upscaling complete.
Okay, I don't have the ability to get rid of those tiles, unfortunately. I do for these, though. I just want to make sure that these new colonies have enough workers to
Future market survey complete.
get through the opening stages. I still haven't figured out what I'm doing with this world yet. Oh, corporate culture site. That's the most obvious choice. Okay, I don't think I really need more food right now. If anything, more energy credits make a lot more sense on this world. So I think what I might do is I might replace the food processing facilities with something else. And I'm going to transition...
Upscaling complete.
I'm going to transition to energy. Yeah, we still have enough jobs, so... Trade value and amenities. There should be something that enhances energy production, though. Well, you know, the stock exchange could be worse because we've already got a commerce megaplex.
Upscaling complete.
Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that. Mining
Upscaling
world.
complete.
Start by upgrading. You know what?
Research
I'm just going to upgrade
actualized.
everything. Starbase capacity +1. Again, we still haven't built our existing. I do actually want to build my
Potential
network
market
of
survey completed.
starbases, but it would help if I had a clearer idea in terms of what my trade patterns are going to be before handling that. The immense logistical support networks needed to maintain an upgraded starbase can be further improved, allowing us to support more of these stations. Lots of tile blockers. Yeah. I'm gonna get a little bit of everything, but... this is a really hard one. It's like just on the border of what I would consider to be acceptable for resource generation. I am tempted to go down the mining path a little bit more, but okay, these guys are going to need jobs soon. They're really hurting on amenities though, so commercial zones for them. That'll also take care of employment for a while. They've already upgraded. Do I not have... Nope, because I'm still waiting for size 40. Yeah, some of these planets where I let the population get this high are questionable. Do you often specialize your planets? I more pick that up mid-playthrough, so I do prefer specialization just because in the end it's going to be the thing that, like, especially given the fact that there are specialized planet types, like you can make resort and like penal colonies and whatnot. I just think that the value added from that is it's pretty remarkable. So it's okay, we can
Research actualized.
send you out on your thing. But definitely I'm playing catch up on this. Like a lot of the unemployment and whatnot that I'm experiencing is kind of a result of my mismanagement of those resources. Okay, war games. A strong war game tradition has taken root among the senior officers of our fleets, whether the games be computer simulations or actual exercises in space. This has encouraged our admirals to think outside the box, resulting in numerous tactical innovations and new strategies. Command limit is increased by 20, and level cap is increased by 2. Okay, I need to start making some decisions in terms of what I want to do with my species. So I've, keeping one open just in case a big event happens, I'm okay with that. Keeping two, it becomes wasteful. So I can make spaghetti code. I can make world destroyers. I mean, this would be really fun if I wanted to go and barrel over and take over a lot of territory. But in this particular case, I don't have as much of a need for the Colossus project. Engineered evolution's really tempting because of the gene mods. Alternatively, we can become one with the robot overlords. Oh, World Shaper actually could be pretty big. Galactic Force Projection's very tempting, just because it allows me to have massive navies. This is, by the way, why I'm leaving one open. Defender of the Galaxy being able to do an additional 50% damage to endgame Crisis fleets is a pretty big deal. Yeah, I mean, all of these are pretty good. Galactic Contender, if one of the Fallen Empires wakes up, I can slap it around a bit. It is very tempting to do Mastery of Nature because it makes all my planets bigger. But then there's the ability to actually build mega structures. Jesus, they're so good. And then xenocompatibility. Oh, I am having trouble deciding now. Okay. World Shaper gives me Gaia Worlds. Gaia Worlds are nice, but it's not as nice as being able to make my planets bigger. Making my planets bigger is going to give me access to, the ability to build more buildings, which is then will be worked by the population. So I'm split between Galactic Wonders. How many do I have left? 3. So if I did Mastery of Nature, I could do Galactic Wonders, but then I would either... I wouldn't be able to do Master Builders and also have something to go against the... I've also never gotten World Mastery. I also noticed I don't have Mind over Matter. So I need Psionic Theory. Okay, well, we're not going to become one with... Oh, that's because we're material, of course. Yeah, let's do Mastery of Nature. Although we mastered nature on our homeworld long ago, the alien biomes we have since encountered present new challenges, and they too shall be overcome. Alright, this is going to get exciting. Holy smokes! That's expensive. Yeah, we'll leave that be for a while. Besides, we're finishing an arcology project soon. Okay, tile blockers are done. It's tempting to go for the administrative capacity, but again, I'm going to go for my cheaper options where I can. Colony's ready for an upgrade. That makes me happy. I really should let the AI manage all of this, because I notice I'm spending more and more time like working through all this stuff. Oh wow, they were quick. I don't like the fact that this science ship's just kind of sitting around, but I don't have a lot for it to do. All right, let's get. Look at this beautiful army. And we're still making more money each turn. This is the thing that makes me smile the most, is that our profits are actually growing even though I'm spending so much on all of this.
Upscaling complete.
Oh, beautiful. All right, I've been looking forward to this. So, Ecumenopolis, rhizome capital encased. Layers upon layers of urban sprawl eclipse the globe's crust, and it is done. A scant few years have passed since the start of this grand project, but it is already difficult to recall what the surface of rhizome capital was like. Verdant, rugged, it is all steel now, miles in every direction. A place once molded by chance and the unthinking laws of nature, now a design wrought from an indomitable purpose. Okay. Looks like they are both doing the same thing. So let's not lose our heads. I just need one. Let's see what it looks like now. The Worm in Waiting already did a number on this, obviously, but behold. Corporate HQ. Frankenvinder, we just paved over Rhizome Capital. Hey, and now we've got jobs for people to do. Okay, so this is a foundry arcology. Holy Jesus. Oh, it's so on. Oh my god. Okay, this is great. So, oh, this changes everything. So this thing... Holy smokes. So this one we turn minerals into alloys. This one we turn minerals into consumer goods. And in this one... Yeah, so these are basically like super versions of our like existing material. This is a great upgrade for a planet. So like obviously I'm going to want to make sure that so the way that I'm going to make this work so essentially I have room for 9 more districts. So I think 10 in total. Yeah. So I can build 10 of these things, which means that I can get up to 100 metallurgist jobs, which means that if I can generate 6,000 minerals, I will generate 3,000 alloys. And then, of course, I can divide this amongst all of the other ones. So the trick now is I need to find the planets that produce the most mineral output, and I need to prioritize them right now because those are going to be some big time inputs into our arcology planets. So I believe here. Oh yeah, also. Let's go on a high recruitment drive. I can assign them to slightly better roles later. Actually, I'll do one really quick. So you can really see where the science is happening here. Oh wow, I've got a few scientists here. I don't quite need to prioritize science the way that I used to, but it's nice just to optimize for the those little gains. I won't really worry about the other factors, although I'm sure I'm leaving some benefits on the table. Okay, that's all well and good. Yeah, I don't want to turn these into vassals. So what I was hoping for was to be able to sort of knock this open and to be able to see how many mineral sectors each planet had. Okay, so these, if I build one, apparently I get to see it, but it doesn't actually show me what my potential districts are, which is a shame. Okay. Seven. So it looks like 5 is about average. This is just by sort of an eyeball test. Yeah, so this is a prime candidate for some more mining. Oh, that's right. So yeah, what I'm going to wind up doing now, where I can, is for specialization. I'm going to try and work as many planets as I can that have those mineral resources available. I'm going to try and optimize those outputs. Speaking of, how good are you at... Nope. Nope. A silent congregation. We have received accounts of unusual behavior exhibited by robotic units on Halvam Prime. At unpredictable intervals, a number of our planet-side robots will cease all assigned functions and begin moving to a seemingly randomly determined location in complete synchronicity, timed down to the millisecond. During these bizarre congregations, the affected robots do not appear to engage in any observable form of communication or data transfer. They just stand there, completely still, staring. Investigation has been unable to determine a reason behind the recent phenomena. The duration for which the robots remain in this trance-like state before resuming normal functions varies, as does their time of triggering and destination. No logical correlation or causation has been found, and our population is understandably distressed by these eerie gatherings. So we can scrap the congregating robots, or as long as they don't cause trouble. Nope, scrap them. Oh, they still want more specialist work. I mean, this is an example of a world that I would normally want to pave over, but in this case, we've got our corporate monument. We can go for
upscaling complete.
We can go for a research facility now. Also, how's my fleet coming along? Okay, so the shipyard's empty. I hope I got that right. Yes. And then I'll owe it another battleship, which I'm actually going to
upscaling complete.
Put that right to the top because it'll take a long time to build. Again, we may not have this in time for the war, but dearest customer, we regret to inform you that the trade deal that you negotiated for the export of exotic gas to the worlds of Rhizome Capital has run its course. We're of course more than willing to extend the deal for another 10 years if you have the energy credits to spare. We would like the deal. So 5 exotic gases. That's the ZeroCorp way. Our freighters will begin making deliveries immediately. By purchasing this product, you agree that ZeroCorp cannot be held responsible for any of the adverse effects that may result from its use, including but not limited to skin irritation, psychotic episodes, ocular discoloration, aggressive
Upscaling
mutation,
complete.
increased colonist suicide rates, precognitive trances, biosphere depletion, dangerous strangelet production, micro black hole generation, grain elevator explosions, societal collapse, mass extinction events, unexpected supernova detonations, the complete or partial destruction of your star nation, sudden gamma ray
Upscaling
bursts,
complete.
time travel paradoxes. All right, well, they want to continue the deal too, so. I guess that's in character for that to get interrupted
Colonial
anyway.
enterprise established.
Okay, it's good. Good colonizing there, Theman. We will build you 2 city
A
districts
system has been surveyed.
and a generator. I feel a little dumb keeping this fleet sort of like, so if this is a multiplayer game, I would be revealing the composition of my... Hang on. The hell are you guys doing here?
Upscaling complete.
Terminal egress also needs to start getting some upgrades. And generally just loading it down with as many weapons as I can. Abandoned terraforming equipment. Since our initial settlement on Saexima Prime, several anomalies in the moon's biosphere have been discovered. The ecosystem is unstable and is not developed according to the projected models for a world of this type. Our scientists suspect outside tampering, and these suspicions have now been confirmed. A few of our colonists have stumbled upon a large underground terraforming complex that was built thousands of years ago. Equipment was apparently deactivated in the middle of the terraforming process, leaving the moon's biosphere in its current unfinished state. If we supply enough power, we should be able to reactivate the machinery, but there is no telling what the end result may be.
Situation log revised.
Of course, we're resuming the process. More shield hit points. Again, I think we need to upgrade the ships for that, so it's unlikely it'll happen. And as usual, I'm just going to go for the cheapest option. I kind of hate that I'm leaving my ship hanging around like this, but I kind of need the points. I'm also curious about this prison
Upscaling complete.
colony deal, because I don't seem to have that option available. So arcology, create a penal colony, reduces crime on...
Special project actualized.
Planet size. Okay, and then disables the construction of districts in most buildings on the planet, increases the amenities on all other owned planets. Resort World would be pretty great. Okay, I will keep that in mind. The aborted terraforming process on Saexima Prime has been completed with horrific results. Whatever alien life forms designed... designed the terraforming equipment, their physiology was radically different from ours. The moon has been modified with an ozone-depleted stratosphere to support life requiring high levels of ultraviolet radiation. Millions of colonists have suffered gruesome deaths as a result. Change planet class to Tomb World. Every non-mechanical pop without Tomb World preference dies. So none of them. That's weird, it doesn't show me the, Yeah, no, they totally have No big deal. Oh, we get to watch it. It's just like home. Who are they worried is going to sue them post-extinction level event? Okay, so they're building the starbase. That's what I want them to do. These guys are hopefully going to get stronger over time. I still owe them 2 more battleships, and it looks like 7 more corvettes, but those are probably already in the queue.
Upscaling complete.
Nope. We're also over the limit, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. Okay, so now I get to have some fun. Let's make some claims. I want one of these. And I don't have the rest of the influence, so we'll just leave that be for now. Again, don't need to rush a war. They're not going anywhere. Okay. It would be so wonderful if it could tell me the size of the planet. So if I want, I can actually make the Tomb World a resort. Oh, hell yes, I'm doing this. Oh, but it costs 100, it costs 100 influence. I am completely going to do this, but I have to do it after I make my claims on these worlds. That is too good of an opportunity to pass up, to be able to make a Tomb World resort world. Also, branch offices, do I have any more? We're so close to being able to handle our consumer goods, and then it slipped through our fingers. So we'll leave it be for now. I'm also wanting to keep an eye on the costs here, but 1% is not really that much. My big worry right now is actually for minerals, not food. Food will become a problem eventually, but I have a feeling it'll probably be a little less expensive to bring in. I am curious, however, what it's going to cost me. So 30... That's a spicy meatball. Why is it so expensive? Oh, because it's a colony. I see. Well. I am in for a little bit of a wait on these, it looks like. Let's not stand on ceremony, we'll get these fleets upgraded. Oh, apparently I also have room for even more ships. That'll be exciting. I'm not gonna mess around with it though. I'll keep my 160 pattern. Although I suppose we can start getting some of those drakes. Yeah, actually this is perfect. So I've got
Future market survey complete.
I've got enough immature specimens that I can add them to each one of my fleets. Makes me a little nervous for them because obviously I don't want to lose them, but send one over there. One to equity. Actually, I guess 2 to equity.
Upscaling complete.
I'm not quite sure what to do with this guy, to be completely honest.
Upscaling complete.
Oh, this is a great opportunity. Okay, so the Abba Star Dynasty I don't need to worry about invading anymore. It's going to be... I think I might actually get a clean fight. Holy smokes. Yeah, I basically get I get to slap these guys around whenever I want. Also, now that I'm over capacity, I'm curious... Wow. So now we are equivalent fleet power. So like if I really wanted to kick things off, I could take this Ascension perk and use it to wipe out the opposing, like to wipe these guys out. The catch is that I'm not entirely sure I'd be able to get to all the fallen empires in time. These things are still 20k stronger than me, and I believe these bases are absolute nightmare. Yeah, so like one of these defensive platforms is as strong as one of my fleets. So I'd probably be able to get... I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible strategy for me to throw in one of my fleets to take down one of the stations. Yeah, see, the real problem that I have, if they've got 3 fleets of 79k strength each, and last I recall, these things are just like sadness overall, like even split between defense. I suppose the one thing that I do notice out of this is they seem to be really heavy on kinetics. I wonder if that's true of everything. So we've got battle cruisers, escorts. Very interesting. Okay. So that's the secret. These things... Okay. So this is really good info to know. This, by the way, is why I love getting top-level sensors. So yeah, sort of equal division between dark matter deflectors and neutronium armor. I don't worry myself too much in terms of quality of weapons. Any composition's going to work okay. But take a look here. We've got... I mean, so, sorry, there's the strike craft are a problem because of the shield penetration and armor damage, but like, what am I going to do about that, right? They're just good at everything. Giga Cannon, negative to armor damage, bonuses to shield and hull. Kinetic Artillery, bonuses to shield, bonuses to hull, minus to armor. Gauss Cannon, bonus to shield, minus to armor. Escorts, similar story. Kinetic, Stormfire, Flak. So unless the defensive platforms have... there's the trick. These things are pretty good at ripping through armor. So, oh, no, I have an answer to that. So these things are 50 range, 60 range. This, by the way, so I don't show off, I don't really show off some of the deeper aspects to combat, but here's roughly how I'd handle that. I don't think I could bring Corvettes along because they only have Swarm and Picket. So that's 30 range. Yep, so that's the trick. We load up. Okay, so here's basic. I'm not gonna take out the fallen empire right away, but here's the general plan. these are fixed. All right, so the actual navies of the Fallen Empire have a big weakness in the fact that they are kinetic focused. I believe that's true for all of the navies. Now, these are the things that I don't think it says what their strategies are. I should maybe just double check that. So we've got a bunch of cruisers. Okay, so they want to get into medium range. Now this is the big thing. They're going to try and get into medium range. I'm going to try and keep distance. They've got dark matter thrusters. You know, they're just going to do a better job of managing this than me. I could also say it's like, okay, well, I'll just optimize my fleet for an engagement at 50. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I built myself in such a way that I was, you know, I was prepared to engage at range, and we sort of forced them to come to us while simultaneously preparing for, for taking less damage. But at 75, what am I looking at? I guess we could still get away with artillery on that. But anyways, with a fixed position, so this gives me a big bonus if I think I'm going to be engaging a fleet. And the thing that destroys that is the fact that they've got the medium disruptor, which can rip through my shields and armor, which means that my hulls are exposed. And of course, if my hulls are exposed, then that means that the fleet will move in and wreck me. So how do I deal with that? Well, the answer is that defensive platforms can't move. So if I build myself an artillery fleet, that means no corvettes, and I just go in and I engage this thing at range, there's one of two things that I can do. Either number one, I keep, let's say, a 50 strength platform destroyer, because in the end there's only going to be one platform. Oh, hang on. Nope, this one's even stronger. But yeah, basically I keep a platform killer. Because again, all of these things don't have... Oh! That's different than what I was expecting. Ah, okay, sorry. One last realization. There's a difference between the outpost and the defensive platforms. Defensive platforms, it's the exact same story as before. I armor up. So when the time comes to take on the Vonokon Shard, at least, we don't know if the Matron Archivists are in the same boat. Are we close enough? No. But what we do is we redesign our fleets. We make sure that we are armor heavy, that we are at artillery range, and then essentially what I would do in the composition or creating the fleet. I mean, I'll do a quick sample of a design right now. So let's say we do Titan. I'd love to pretend. Let's say a destroyer, because destroyer should be relatively straightforward. We do artillery bow, and this is actually a little trickier. I think we'll say gunship. Then we say, okay, for the AI, we want artillery tactics, because that's the only thing that will keep us out of range of the lasers. And so neutronium armor, we're small, so that's armor hit points, ship hull points. So I mean, one thing I could try would be something like this. It is kind of tempting to just go full on, so let's... I always love the ship designs. You didn't comment on it before, but these giant beastly looking ships from earlier looked like space dragons. Oh, yeah, are you talking about... Talking about this guy? Oh. There's... I know there's a way to disable the... Is it F10? There's normally a way to disable the line, but oh, so this isn't a ship, Sin. This is an honest to good. Oh crap! What did I just do? Okay. This is an honest to goodness space dragon which I trained. This is what happens if you feed pets at the zoo. Alright, I'm gonna send it to Equity and hope that the others are... Nope, they're all heading to Equity now. Aren't I clever? Anyway, I didn't want to spend so much time on this, but... let me just double check how this works. So I'm gonna get my notebook out. Does it say what their range is, though? Oh, range 10. Oh no, but they can fly, so range 10 doesn't count for anything. I've got 3 of them so far, but let us not forget that I've got the I believe the appropriate millennial term is the chonk tier amoeba. Oh nope, that is not chonk tier amoeba. This is chonk tier amoeba. J.J. Abrams would be proud of that lens flare. Okay, sorry, I gotta get back to fleet design. I'm gonna focus on the capital ships. So we're 75 to 150. They are built to engage at medium range. So the presence of these complicates it a little bit. There's actually a temptation in designing the destroyers. So basically, these are designed to stop the strike craft from becoming a problem. Then we get a large one. So this is good for taking down shields. It's kind of tempting to go for just an all-rounder if I can, but I don't think I have one of those. So if we do highest average damage then. So this is the nice thing. This, by the way, is one way that I think about this, is that if you've got an opponent who's got an even, sort of an even mix of shields and sort of armor, it's like, well, you know, so you kind of want to make sure that you have the right composition in your fleet. So that is, you're like, okay, well, maybe I want to make sure that some of the ships have, you know, good anti-shield weapons and some have good anti-armor. But the other way is just saying, is like, well, let's just take the highest average damage. And then in this particular case, I would just make sure that for some of the other ships, I would make sure that they have, they have something that's good that's taking down armor. So we take like the kinetic artillery, and then I maybe make sure that the cruisers have something that's really good at taking down armor. So in this case, maybe some strike craft or something like that. So doing that. Now, here's what's interesting about the neutronium armor. So I take a look at that. So we'll say that's 800 hull, 870 armor. So given the fact that we know these things are 50% less on armor, sort of the effective HP for this thing was at 435, so that's 1305 effective, and then the hull gets a 25%, it's like a 25% bonus to damage, so basically you need to take a quarter off of that. So total effective HP of this setup is 1905. Sorry, I'm doing this by hand in the dark. And apparently I just got ink on my finger, so I am a shambles. So then we can take a look at the alternatives. Like, okay, well let's go for like a medium mix. What does that wind up getting me? Well, again, it's 50% less on armor. So in this case, we're looking at another, oh Jesus, 35 is always tricky to deal with, so. Then hull points are 1130, but you got to take a quarter off of that. For the sake of the argument, I'm just going to say it's 1200. So admittedly, this is rounding a little bit, but basically effective HP, maximizing, or doing this half and half, is 1450. And then finally we can say it's like, okay, well, you know what? I want to make sure that this ship is as survivable as possible. Hull is the thing that you can use to save yourself. Let's go for 1460. It's like, well, okay, but you have to knock off a quarter of that, and given the fact that we already knew that 1450 was less survivable than an all armor specification, clearly against this fallen empire, this is the best option. Now the real question is, do we do regenerative hull tissue? So the reason for this would be to give it sort of regeneration, but this is daily, right? This isn't going to be happening during combat. Another alternative, advanced afterburners. Now this is pretty cool because it gives you evasion. So the ability to evade incoming attacks are another form of damage mitigation, and so that'll increase the survivability of the ship. Reactor booster, I actually don't know what that does, so power generation 100. Maybe let's reconsider. Auxiliary fire control, bonus chance to hit. I mean, expected damage goes up, which is always good. Obviously, being able to take the things out of the sky are not bad. Orbital trash. Oh, Jesus, I didn't know this was an optional orbital bombardment. Yeah, so we get to dump our crap on them. And then shield capacitor. Well, this is dumb because 10% of 0 is still 0, so no point in going in there. So for survivability, I'd say advanced afterburners are the best call. Auxiliary, I mean, chance to hit +5 is not terrible, but I'm not entirely convinced is my best option. You do get some bonuses, so essentially by having a lot of power generation, you do get slight bonuses. Notice that my damage went up. It's about an extra point of damage each day, but I don't know. I'm definitely feeling like this would be my. I feel like this would be my my destroyer that I use to take out those platforms. And the nice thing about it is that like, again, sure, we live with the fact that these things are coming to kill us. I might even be tempted not to bring any strike craft alongside. I'd need to reconsider that, but essentially we just keep everything at range. We lob... I mean, this thing is just going to be sad the whole time that we're lobbing grenades at them. These guys might be able to close the gap and put some hurt on us. That is so weird, by the way, that works out, that balances out so well. But basically, like, if these guys move in to cause some trouble with us, we've already built a scenario. The only way that these things can really do us damage is if they engage us at close range. The only weapons that can engage us at close range are these fleets. So it's actually better for us if they come and chase us rather than us fighting them near their defensive platforms. So, but again, this is all well into the future. I mean, I think if it really came down to taking on the fallen empires, getting a nice little where is it? Galactic Contender. Yes. 33% extra damage after I've taken a look at their secrets, and I can see exactly where they're weak. That should be a pretty straightforward. Oop. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with these guys fighting. It should be a pretty straightforward little contest. All right. Let's get you back to building. Sorry about all the time that took. I probably should be wrapping up
complete.
before too long. But I think one of the things I'm kind of conscious about is that a lot of people ask, how did you decide this particular fleet? Well, my usual method for fleet composition is to acknowledge the fact that to me, my main fleet composition strategy is to say I'm playing against the AI. The AI is very likely going to be making similar decisions to me, and so my edge will come in being able to outproduce them. And that's effectively the strategy that I've employed this time around. Clearly, the Fallen Empire, even though I'm at sort of the end game as far as technology is concerned, it's not enough. Like, I need to do more to be able to take out the Fallen Empire, at least with the numerical values. And so I can get a little bit of an advantage just by taking the time to look at the credible scenarios in which I'm going to need to deal with with an opponent like that. Now, if I just looked at their armaments, I would have taken a look. It's like, okay, well, these guys are really weak against armor, so I'm going to build some armor ships, and we'll deal with them that way. And what I would have then done is I would have kept the AI settings to their defaults. I would have had a whole swarm of corvettes, which are only protected with armor, go basically into like melee range with a defensive platform, which is equipped to melt through armor as quickly as possible. And by the time that the Fallen Empire's fleet shows up, my Titans left all alone, trying to take on this overwhelming force. So, in order to avoid that fate, I say, okay, so what's the reasoning that I had through that was effectively, so how do I deal, clearly the thing I'm worried about the most from these guys are the moving ships. So if I were to, if I have a way of dealing with this armor damaging factor, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to win this war. What's a way that I can deal with the armor damage? And it's to take a look at the fact that the only armor-damaging weapons... Well, I mean, they all damage armor, but the ones that are most effective at damaging armor they can't go at artillery range. So if I build a fleet around artillery range, the only thing that I need to worry about closing that distance are the fleets, which I've already built an armor set up to be able to defend against. In the context of a multiplayer game, you know, I'm sure probably people wouldn't sit down and let me be able to see their weaknesses like that, but then other people aren't going to be playing Fallen Empires, so... latest generation of Titan hulls have optimized structural integrity fields and improved bulkheads. And again, they're all the same, so let's go for... Actually, let's focus a little bit on things that are long range. So either miniaturized pre-igniters, kinetic weapons, or heat recycle. They're all... You know what? Heat recyclers. Also, we're getting a little low on food, it looks like. So that's totally my fault that we are, but... Acknowledging my role in this. We'll let the moats continue to flow. Oh, these guys are almost out of jobs to do, so...
A system has been surveyed.
I can't build a Ministry of Production yet, but I will be able to soon. Oh, everything's coming online now. Okay, so these are all perfect examples of worlds where I'm pretty much going to pave them over. Oh yes, there was another thing I was meaning to do. Let me deal with these first. Why can't I build research? Oh, okay, well. Computational overclocking. Our scientists report a recent unexpected rise in CPU clock cycles in several of our research-dedicated supercomputer clusters. Oddly enough, initial attempts at reducing clock frequency in affected units has proven unsuccessful. It has been posited that the spike in computational power could be used to improve our research capabilities. However, this would necessitate a modest increase to CPU energy requirements. I really want that modifier. Now, you know what? We're doing it. We should take advantage of this. This will have no negative consequences whatsoever. There is definitely not crazy science fiction stuff going on in the background that will make me sad. That's a lot of jobs. I need to be a little bit more careful on
Upscaling complete.
preserving the jobs. I did say I was going to focus on mining.
Upscaling complete.
Man, these guys really don't like each other now. Right, so this one was going to get paved over.
Ships upscaled.
Okay, good news there. Running low on jobs, but again, no point in paving everything over if, oh yeah, this is another one that's primed for mineral production. I am going to need to start finding some farming worlds, though. Okay, something really exciting is going on in intergalactic politics with all these guys declaring, I don't know, frustration at each other. I am, however, a little worried that I cut myself off from potential food resources. Okay. I do kind of want to try and focus on energy. So I think this is going to be the real dilemma that I've put myself in now. In my quest to get energy, I've cut myself off from food supply. Yeah, there's nothing else to do on this Agri world. That one's definitely much better suited for generation. This one will help me though. Okay, we'll leave it at that. But I at least have one world that I can specialize. And again, these things do stack. Okay, well, that's... Apparently they're back to talking to each other. I really just want to vassalize them and be done with it. Okay. These guys still don't want to be vassalized. I wonder if the Fallen Empire wants to be vassalized. No. I am tempted just to declare a rivalry on them, but the last thing I want to have them decide is, oh, okay, well, if that's how you feel about it, we'll just invade you right now. So... I am, however, going to see... I don't think I have enough influence to be able to make my claims, but... Getting a little bit closer to the goal each time. You want to be a peaceful space civilization with a big fist logo? So like the Baranthe, but something a little bit more exciting as far as the graphics are concerned. Look at that beautiful 2,000 strength army. Alright, on that note, I think this is going to be the end. I know this was a little bit more of a building stream, but there's some interesting stuff going on in this. Ruined particle accelerator. We have discovered what appears to be the remains of a massive particle accelerator on Themen Prime. It was found in a still radioactive region covered in massive bomb craters, suggesting the accelerator was considered a strategic target of great importance during the moon's nuclear war. We have recovered several research logs written by the scientist in charge of the accelerator. Although the technology of her civilization was fairly primitive, some of the theoretical research and formulas described in the logs are advanced even by our standards. Our physicists are poring over the data now. Fascinating. Okay, let's find Themen.
I would never want to belong to any
Dawn 66634. Thank you very much for the follow. I do appreciate that. Let's see what's happening on Themen before I go too far. One thing I really like about Distant Stars, and I don't feel it's ever gotten enough respect for this, is that I'm still finding new stuff in the events. Like, as far as... It was obviously one of the less costly DLCs. And of course, with this in mind, you know, Paradox did give me a press key, so if you feel my opinions may be bought in such a base way. Okay, cool. 20% bonus to research. That will be helpful. I definitely think... I remember people's reaction was sort of... I don't know, they didn't feel all... It didn't really seem like they were all that impressed. And yet, it seems to me that something that continues to add some fresh blood each time you play is probably one of the... Like, to me, it's one of the longest standing value adds of the game. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Utopia. Synthetic Dawn was great. I'm having a hell of a time with Megacorps. But, I don't know, there's just something really nice about Distant Stars where there's enough variety that's added in there that you get to... You know, you really get to kind of appreciate all of the... I don't know, just the nice little touches. And especially, too, because when these things tend to collide into each other... it makes for these really fun little moments. It just adds a nice little twist to some of the things that are going on inside of the story. And I don't know, I like stuff like that personally. One thing I am trying to find out, so I possibly misunderstood what the Arcology project is. Obviously, the fact that I'm able to build these foundries is huge. but it's debatable that that this had any benefit towards my research. Like, my whole plan about paving over research worlds may not actually be that good of an idea. What I might want to do instead is to pave over the worlds that don't have a lot of natural resources. Oh, nope. Ecumenopolis gives a 20% bonus to research. So, this is just a monstrous bonus. Like, this guy's producing 3 times of what he normally does. This is, by the way, why, like, in terms of total research, like, this one planet accounts for almost half of what my empire is doing. That's why I was, like, for those of you who remember when we fought the Great Khan, like, this is why I absolutely never, under any circumstances, wanted them to... S-Life, thank you very much for the follow. This is why, under no circumstances, did I want them to cross over here, because the distance it takes them to get to the capital is a lot shorter than you think. Like, essentially, I can make one stand, and if I'm beaten, I'm not going to have enough time to be able to recover my my guys. What's going on with this blue fella? Oh, the Hythian League. Looks like the Hythian League got their own. So, I'm technically the, as Sin likes to put it, the mama of 4 space drakes, because I'm the overlord for this guy. But actually, let's end this on a proper note. So we've got okay, Drake number 1. Oh, it's upgrading, so. Okay, so apparently I'm not allowed to merge these things. Fair enough. But yeah, here's our big badass fleet with 2 Titans, 2 Drakes. We've got a massive amoeba. These guys have territory that we want to take. So, I am very much looking forward to the fireworks that are going to come as a result of this. I think probably so my economy, there's a couple of storm clouds that are going to be emerging. One, I'm definitely hurting for influence, and I need to do what I can to... Who the hell do I have non-aggression pacts? Well, actually, I'm okay with the non-aggression, but I know who that's with, so that one I can keep. I guess research agreements are fine as well. Why the hell am I talking to them? Yeah, so they're already a subject. There's nothing I can do there. I am mildly curious because I know the Vunacon Shard is the weakest. Yeah, so the Metron Archivists are going to be a problem still, and the Rhinar Protectors. Ooh, Jesus! Yeah, those guys are tough. Aha! So they each have their own specialty. Looks like these guys go for armor and hull. Actually, this is a much more balanced fleet. These guys are going to be tricky to deal with. So I think if I'm gonna, if I want to try and take over as the, the Grand Poobah, what I probably want to do is I want to take out the Vunacon Shard. 1, because they're closest to me. Number 2, because I'll be able to steal their technology after I take them over. After that, I can consider making a move on either the Metron or the Rhinar Protectors. But again, that's really far down the road. I probably want to get my capacity up. I can easily build probably 2 more of these proper-sized fleets. Oh, hang on. I still haven't filled this out properly. What's going on in Halvam? Did I forget to build them a proper battleship? Sorry, I'm getting really distracted here. 153. Damn it, I built one too many Corvettes. Oh, crap. No! Ugh! I want to disable that button. Okay, once more with feeling. Sorry, I really can do this like off cast, but I'm committed now. Okay. Spit out a Corvette. I hate to do this because it's such a waste of resources, but I'm going to disband it. And then on Halvam, we will build a battleship. Yeah, so I'll take it up to 160, and in the meantime, we'll upgrade the fleet. Okay, so next cast, I'm going to get my influence up. We're going to use that to claim fact, and then this little corner here, so a total of 5 planets. I'm going to take one of my fleets from Zoblar. We're going to go through the fact wormhole and claim all these territories. Now, it's a little bit harder for me to decide what I want to do now that these guys don't have a defensive pact with anybody. So nobody's going to come to help them. The way I sort of figure I'll probably handle this is I will... The big dilemma that I run into on this one is that they actually don't have a lot of ways for me to get inside. I can use the L gate, but the L gate only takes me through these areas, which, don't get me wrong, that's nice. It's better than not having that access. But practically, what is that going to get me? You know, the Peninsula Union has a border with them. They're not going to let me go through. It is very tempting to try and go from the right, because in this particular case, it'll probably be the most direct path to their capital. But what is that gonna look like? My best option really is probably to go through Suskat's Maw, and then I need to basically navigate through all of this to finally show up in this region here. Like, they don't have any gateways, they don't have any well, okay, there's a gateway here, but it's not open. None of the wormholes that I have access to go over here. The only wormhole that does is one that's not really that connected. It's still more connected than the L gate. Actually, you know what? Now that I look at it, there's really not that much resistance through the L gate. So yeah, maybe what I do is my 2 main fleets, I send through the L gate. That backup fleet goes through the wormhole just so that I can take the war goals. The rest of us do a beeline towards the capital, and what I might start doing, I might split up the invasion force, just because I don't think I'm actually going to need all of that firepower in one spot. Anyways, something to consider for next time. I am so fond of Stellaris. It's a really cool game. I sometimes feel a little self-conscious of the fact that it sometimes eclipses some of the other games that, particularly Paradox games that people like watching me play, like Crusader Kings. I'm trying to find a better way of doing that balance, but we'll leave it for next time. I'm like half an hour past when I wanted to end, and I've just been sort of babbling. So let's host Octavian Zero. He'll probably be wrapping up for tonight, but Eyes of Sin says nice things about him, and he says nice things about me. And so, yes. Do come along. I mean, he's definitely a much bigger streamer than me. He does Path of Exile primarily, but as I'm always fond of saying, it's kind of the personalities behind broadcasts which are the main reason why I watch them or why I recommend them. Octavian is definitely a gentleman. If you've ever wondered what drives people to play Path of Exile, he does a wonderful job of explaining that. And I don't know, I hope you guys have a good time with it. If not, at the very least, you can enjoy the lovely emotes that the Eyes of Sin made. You get to see the little rehabilitated Pepe that she made for him. But until next time, just a reminder that Wednesday there will not be a Cultist Simulator stream. We are between playthroughs anyway, so it's not the end of the world that doesn't turn out. But hopefully, it is worth remembering. Friday is a holiday in Canada. But seeing as Thursday is technically the start of my weekend, maybe there's a chance for a special stream on Thursday. And if I do a special stream on Thursday, I might have something that none of you are expecting to come up live. So. If you're around on Thursday, if you like strategy games that I do, I think you will be very happy if I get a cast done then. Otherwise, there's something that I've been looking forward to do for a while, and I'll articulate it when I can. But if you get a chance, definitely hang out with us. I think it'll be a good time. Also, Sean makes stuff. Sometimes games, sometimes tools. He was in here chatting a little bit before. Please do check out that link. If you like, if you've ever been the sort of person who asks, where do you find all these interesting games from? Paradox, it's kind of easy because they're a big, well, I don't think they know what kind of a size company they are, but like, they have a dedicated team to doing outreach. And but the fact of the matter is there are remarkably talented people, very likely in the city that you live in. And it's hard to find these people, but they usually make pretty impactful things. And this is true in Vancouver with like indie films as well. And so this is, sharing stuff like this, even if I don't play them on the cast, it's sort of, I see it as my opportunity to sort of share some of these things that mean something to me with you. So I hope you enjoy it. It's updated pretty regularly, so if you do have an itch account, I do recommend that you follow it. But without further ado, please join me in a very warm, hearty hello to Octavian Zero. Hopefully he's not gone offline in the time that it's taken me to say all of this. Have a lovely evening, folks, and we'll see you next time.